G'day YouTube, it is Matt here from the Wicked GQ Patrol channel. Well, I did it. I bought something that maybe I shouldn't have, and this is something that most people would still have in an older car, and I thought, you know what, mine has been finicky and hard to use, so I bought a car stereo off Wish. Now, I know it's made in China, and I know it's the peak of the Corona season right now, and this thing took forever to get here. Like, it took bloody 8 or 9 weeks. Like, seriously. But, lo and behold, I did it. I went out and actually bought this. It costed me, I think, 68 bucks off Wish, and it's supposed to be the U-Butte, has a 7-inch screen or something like that, and you know, does all your Android Auto and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox it. It's sitting right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this. Could be a piece of junk, and see what on earth we've come up with. I can tell you now from lifting this up, it's not heavy. It's something pretty light and lighter than most stereos, but it doesn't have a CD drive or a disc drive of any sort, so it relies on memory cards and things like that. So anyway, let's do that. So here we go. We get this, of course, traditional Chinese plastic wrapped box. I'm just going to use something sharp, cut the plastic up a bit, you know, so make it easier. I'm doing this one-handed because I just don't have two hands. So I'm just going to pause this here and rip it open. I must say as well, this is some nice, you know, really thin bubble wrap that you get with this Chinese garbage. So, you know, this is no Pioneer head unit, so we're left with a cardboard box, grey, no branding, no nothing on it. We'll open this here. Oh, look at this. Fancy dancy. We have some power leads. Oh, rear view camera. It actually does have a rear view camera that comes with it. I mean, it's got, looks like it's got LEDs. So it can't be the worst of quality. Trying to rip the bag open a bit more. Anyway, I think this is your power cable and some accessories. Come on, get out. It doesn't want, oh shit, I'm losing screws now. It's on the floor, whoops. Okay, oh, another screw, bloody heck. Anyway, this looks like your camera plugs maybe, I don't know. It's weird how they've got this and it's just wired to, I get it. I think I get it. Maybe not. Oh, and I'll have to have a look at the instructions, but it's got a red wire coming out of each end of that cable, so I have no idea why, because this doesn't look like it has a red wire. Ah, I see. So you've got this with red and black. You use, I guess, the negative goes to the body of the car, and the red goes back to the stereo, the head unit. So they've included that in there. And there's your video lead, just a composite video lead. And inside here somewhere we have the actual head unit. No, we've got another. Oh, look at that. It's got a remote control. I wasn't expecting that. And a speaker plug and a power plug. And hey, it's got a booklet to actually explain to you how to bloody well either operate it or wire it up. No, it's an actual operation manual. Something you don't get many of these days. Most things you need to go onto the internet to get any sort of instructions. So then we're left with, oh, hang on. Oh no, that's just a piece of foam. Okay, so another piece of foam, and this Duvalaki comes out of here. It's actually boxed internally. It's boxed really nicely. So here we go. Look at this. So there's your head unit, the actual screen, and here we go. And I'll just put this on its side. Try not to drop it or anything like that. Here we go. So that's it there. It's got no... it's got an antenna. I can't see in that GPS hole to see if it's got a GPS antenna plug, but I don't think I bought the one with the inbuilt GPS. I don't think I did. So we'll have a look at that. Memory card reader in there. Power to the side, forwards and backwards. Looks like that's your IR there. On the top, maybe a remote sensor, a microphone sensor there, or a microphone input. It's got auxiliary. Auxiliary what? USB. Okay, that makes sense. So the auxiliary 3.5mm jack. I don't know what RES means, but it's a hole with RES. No idea what that means. A USB. And on the bottom, we've got a wiring diagram to tell you what on earth everything is. And on the back, we've got camera in, a auxiliary in for video, video out 1 and 2. So you can actually put external monitors on this. It looks like it has another 3.5mm socket on the back. Not sure what that's for. And it's supplied with a 15 amp fuse. Relatively, you know, probably, I'm guessing it's going to be 50 watts PNPO per channel. Hard to say. So, and of course these plugs just go into the back. Pretty easy to use here. And it screws in from the side. So it's a pretty compact, look how compact that is. It's tiny. Alright, so we got some screen peel here. Some good old screen peel. Whoop. I'm going to try and just get that off. Now, I'm not expecting anything of high quality out of this, obviously. I might have to actually take the sides off to get that screen peel off, because it's going down the sides of the head unit. Like, all right, well, let's do that. Well, I actually ended up tearing that plastic Duvalaki off without taking off the side panel. It just was a bit stuck underneath there, but it did come off all right. So it looks like a... No, that's a button too. So that looks like a half decent looking unit. I mean, it doesn't look so awful. I mean, until we plug it in, who knows what we're going to get with the screen. So does it have any specifications? We're looking here for some specifications. Oh, it's in a different language. It doesn't help me at all. So installation, please, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing, you know. No, that's apparently what it looks like for Bluetooth connections and all that. So here we go. 60 by 4 watts output maximum MOSFET amplifier. Oh yeah, so it'd be about probably 20 watts RMS per channel, not even that. And pretty average, I'm guessing, but it supports all of that. You know, TF card slots, FM, no AM. There you go, they got rid of AM, Bluetooth function, bass and treble auxiliary in, rear view cameras, and it's got how to use the remote control and steering wheel button learning function. Okay. Well, that's an interesting one. I was not expecting that to be in there. There's probably an adapter that you need to get for the steering wheel. There's some more specifications on it. The wiring diagrams. And that's what it looks like. I don't think it will be Android Auto like they advertise, but movies and photos. Bluetooth. Oh, look at this. Cheapers, man. And then it goes to Russian. So, I think that's Russian. Correct me if I'm wrong. But here's another instruction booklet for the camera, or a little information booklet. Oh, here we go. Hang on. So it does have a wiring diagram for our reverse sensor. Oh, look at that. It plugs into the cigarette lighter. Oh, oh, that is just great. You know, it plugs into the cigarette lighter, out of all things. I think you're meant to actually wire that to... I can't even read that. Like, look how shocking that text is on the... on that diagram. You can't even read it. Field of something, lighter, power, and this is zoomed in on my camera. Like, I can zoom in a little more. Don't think I'll be able to. It says DC 2 volts. Alright, whatever, I believe with that. So, yeah, very hard to read, but we shall go out into my shed and wire it up to I've got a bench power supply, 12 volts. We can wire it up to that. I've only got 2 speakers, I think, for this, and even here you can see that it's not quite... I don't know if you can see that. It's like bulging out. So it's the quality is quite average, so to say, but look, it will do the trick for someone who needs a head unit in a car that's cheap. But anyway, let's go and test it out. Okay, so we're in my shed right now with this. All I know with the brand name, it actually doesn't really have a brand, but I'll call it the Chinese, how about this, 7010B head unit, cheap off Wish's app. Now, before I powered this up, I noticed something. When we turn the unit around, right now you can see in between here there is ventilation gaps. If you watch back earlier in the video, you would have you may or may not be able to notice, I should have taken a couple of photos, but these ventilation gaps weren't there. Now, the reason why I ended up punching these ventilation gaps out is because you could see tiny little gaps here and there and everywhere. And when I took this apart the first time, I had noticed that, hang on, these are meant to be ventilation gaps. They're designed to be, except for when sometime in the cheap manufacturing process, they decided not to punch them out properly. So instead, what will happen is over time, if this is vibrating in the car a lot, or shaking, or wires pushed up against it, a little bit of this aluminium here will fall out onto the PCB board that's inside it. So what I'll do now is I'll open this board up, because there's a couple of interesting points. Depending on where you buy this from, it says that this head unit is a 60 watt, 4 times 60 watt amplifier inbuilt into the unit. But let's open it up and really check out what it is. So to save a little bit of time, I've taken off the 4 side screws there and there and peeled this open. Now when you do peel it open, be careful of the ribbon cables. If you rip them out whilst the lock tags are still in, you will do damage. So you can probably see up the back there that I've already cleaned that all out. I actually took this whole PCB board apart and took it out of the unit the last time. But here's your amplifier chip sitting right there. There's not much in that base, isn't there? Interestingly enough, it's got a fairly decent CPU there, or like an encoder, a decoder chip for 1080. So it'll do all your... I actually looked that one up. It is a half decent ARM 9 architecture CPU that runs the whole kit and caboodle, which is enough for some decent performance. But you know, such a tiny little 2,200 microfarad capacitor there, tiny, and this one's a 470 on the other side, and there's another, you know, probably DAC chip sitting there. I haven't looked up what all of the chips do. Between the speaker outputs and the amplifier section is a direct link. There's nothing in between it, just direct, straight out of that, out to the outputs on the speakers. So that's another interesting point. Alright, so let's take off this little plate here. There's 2 screws on the back, and I don't want to do that whilst I'm holding the camera up, so we'll just get that off. So now that we've gotten that plate off the back of the, or the front should I say, of the unit, we can zoom right in, and we can see it's a YD7388. So if we were to go to Google, hopefully this computer's working. Oh, not now. And we go in here, YD7388, and it comes up. And we get these data sheet of here we go, quad bridge car radio amplifier. That's probably most likely going to be the one. Ah, that looks perfect. So this is interesting. So they said on the website that this is a 60 watt channel, per channel amplifier, but as we can see right here, that is not what it is. It's 25 watts, and this is most likely going to be peak output. Yes, I'm right. 25 watt peak output power, and its input, or its voltage operational, is 14.4 volts DC and running at 4 ohms. So you're looking at about 12 watts at 8 ohms, even though most, or just about all of audio that you find in cars is 4 ohms. So another one here that says it will run up to 41 watts maximum, absolutely maximum, even though its peak output is 25. So I would say safely that you wouldn't want to run, you'd run this on your stock speakers in your car. You wouldn't go out and buy really expensive speakers with 100 watts, you know, RMS, and try and run this on it. If you want to do that, then you're better off putting in an amplifier. It just shows you some of the basic circuit diagrams here, inputs to outputs, and yes, it is pretty direct. Like, there's not much going on here, just a couple of capacitors, input capacitors and things like that. Oh, mute. Okay, it's got a mute option and a standby option. Oh, okay, right. So, you know, if I really wanted to read that drawing, I'd understand more of it, but look, it's a 25 watt amplifier, 4x25. You can probably get 41 when you're driving 2 channels, but in realistic, and look at that THD, total harmonic distortion, is at 10% at 25 watts. That might be just saying that if you're going to run any more than 25 watts, you're going to have distortion like the nutsies. So would I run more than your standard car speakers? You know, standard car speakers are about 10, 15, maybe 20 watts. Anything special, any special speakers, go on, get yourself a decent power amp, a 4-channel power amp, and that takes in the high side, because this only has 2-channel output on the back of it. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to put this back together so that we can demonstrate it running. So after a little bit, we got this back together, and So to wire this up on my test bench, I'm just going to run it on this good old laboratory DC power supply. It produces about 5 amps. It's not very much, 5 amps on pairing mode, or should I say on parallel mode. Or if that wasn't enough, I've got a good old 12-volt battery, old car battery I can also hook up to it. But for now, I think I'm just going to hook this up like that. On the bottom of these head units is your wiring diagram, so it's pretty easy to follow that. I've got some speakers already hooked in. I'm going to use these good old Clipsals. They're 8 ohms though, so we're not going to get much out of them, but it will be enough to test it. And the black I've wired just to get it going. I've pre-wired the yellow and red wire together, which is your ignition and battery. Because I can't be bothered wiring a switch for that. So now these plugs on the back, I just got to make sure that these screws are nice and tight as well. Oh, I forgot to tighten them right up. That's the heatsink. Now on the back of that power amp chip there is plenty of heatsink paste, so I didn't bother to add any more to it or to change its design. So these, they won't go into the wrong hole. That's which really good. They actually click into the correct hole. So we can, I'm not going to plug that in yet because I don't want to play FM radio or anything like that in case it does pick it up. It shouldn't, because we don't have an antenna to plug into here. Now the pink cable's for your reverse camera. Again, I probably won't demonstrate that. I don't have the camera out of the box or out of the bag or anything like it. Now, just when you're doing this, just wrap up some tape around your positive cables. The negative's not such a worry. Sorry about all this mess. Yes, it is my messy shed, but you know, one day I'll build my new shed and get this place a bit more organised than what it is now. So we're going to will it reach? Yes, we're going to click that on there with an alligator clip. Negative, positive, and we've already pre-tuned this to about 12-13 volts, so we're going to turn it on there. And when we've got that on, we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if we have to push. Oh no, here we go, straight away it's in. Just a very generic point there. It gives us a clock. So we'll push the power button. Oh, straight away, look at that. Fantastic. It's a pretty generic setup up here. Very generic blue background. It's picked up a radio station without an antenna. That's quite amazing. I'm not sure why this is cycling different colours. Oh, I don't know if that was picking up a radio station or what, but 91.5, have we got that? No. So that's just going to cycle through. So let's go to the home page. You know, turn down the volume, up the volume. It's pretty neat. And it's even got phone link, which is, I believe that this head unit did not have this function, but hey, you know, they may have put it in the newer models, I don't know. But so we can play radio. If we plug in a USB or a little TF card here, we can play our music, which I don't actually have a TF card full of music. Movie, you can play movies as long as your handbrake is off or not wired in, which, you know, I don't recommend anyone wiring in the stereos, not the standard, but that is totally up to you and your jurisdiction where you live in. You can view your photos on your cards. You can explore your cards, which I can't do here. Connect to Bluetooth, which, I'm on the phone where I want to connect to Bluetooth. So, but there's your Bluetooth screen. So, AVN, which is for auxiliary in up here, I believe. I might be wrong. Your settings, you can set your audio here. Oh, it's just got bass and treble. Very simple. Actually, what's that one? Classic. Okay, so it's pretty simple. There's no advanced equalizers or anything in here. Not that you really need it, but you know, it really depends on what you want out of your stereo. You can put on loudness, for example. Okay, so we can go back. Alright, photo wheel. Okay, so what I want to demonstrate next, I want to see if I can get the USB phone link to work. So we click on that. No, it doesn't do anything because there's no... If you don't have the card in, it also has steering wheel control, which I'll have to figure this one out and how to set it. If anyone knows how to set this, please link below. So I don't know. This thing doesn't come with much instructions. The book is pretty useless. Oh yeah, you can calibrate your screen. Oh, set a logo. Oh, look at that. Oh, I've got a Nissan. So what does that mean if I turn it off? Nope. I don't know what that means. I think I do. Actually, that's when you first power it on from the ignition. It will display your car's logo. I'm pretty sure that's what it will mean. So that's a little handy feature. You can set your display, reset things, background set. Maybe you can make different backgrounds. Yeah. 2, 3. pretty basic, I must say. And calibration is for the touch calibration. We're not going to touch that because it seems to be working very well. Here's your... let's go back. We can set the time in here. That's pretty simple to adjust. That's very simple to adjust. Seems to be pretty easy to use. It responds to my finger touches pretty nicely. Actually, I'm really surprised with that. So let's plug in the speakers and see how this thing goes. I'll probably have to plug in the speakers via the auxiliary in. Oh no, we were going to say we're going to do the phone link. So let's try that. So we go and plug the phone in now. Should I say tablet, because that's what it is. You'll see that it will tell you to do debugging. I've already got that enabled, so it should just load like that. Pretty simple. So now if you get onto your device, I don't know why it's sitting upside down. There we go. If you get onto the device, and I'll unlock it, you can now see that it's displaying on the screen exactly what you'd see on the tablet. So I've just put that into widescreen mode there so that it fills up the screen, and that's not bad actually, I must say. So we can now go to YouTube. Now I am connected through Wi-Fi, so give me a minute here. So we want to type in my channel because I don't want to play anything that requires a license. Oops, there we go. Oh, didn't like that. Okay, OL. It should fit my, oh, there we go. There's one of my, so I don't hear any, the sound is coming out of the phone, which I thought it would be coming out of the actual head unit. So I'm not sure why that is the case. Or maybe it's because I've turned it down. Let's... So I'm not sure. You would think that phone link meant that the sound would also travel through, but it doesn't seem to be the case. What I'll do is I'll stop it right here. And let's connect the Bluetooth. Might have to go out of this, but we'll try it first. So Bluetooth connectivity is not on. So it's found car Bluetooth. We'll pair it. It may want me to go into settings. No, it's connecting straight away. Oh, there we go. That was a, a different noise. So now if we go back to our video on YouTube, will we have sound? It might need, sometimes you need Bluetooth and, no, I didn't want that. Ah, it's not working for me today. YouTube. Will we have sound now?
It seems to be
there we go.
Good on its current, so well, that's a bit weird. So I've got a evaporative cooler.
Like I said, it's not going to be very loud. It could be because my Bluetooth is turned on. Yes, it is.
Off at the moment. It's through the breaker, but I've already been up. Well, we've found the problem, but I'll show you what is involved in these bloody evaps. They're pretty simple. I've had to learn a little bit about them, and anyway.
So the sound is still connected even though we've gone out of the phone link, but it's just to show you that if you wanted to play a movie in your car with your phone, you could easily do that, or put your favourite YouTube on whilst you're driving if you really wanted to and break the law. I wouldn't recommend it. But or maybe for your passenger, because I think and I believe that there is an external port. Yes, there is. We have V-out 1 and V-out 2. So you can actually have two screens plugged into this, and I believe that if you're running then a movie, it will only put it onto your output screens. But I'm not sure. I'd have to do a lot more investigation into that to see if that's the case. So now that the Bluetooth is connected, we go there, we should be able to go, you know. I don't have a SIM card in this, so it will just reject the call. Yeah, it's just telling me link OK, because on this screen we've got not registered on a network. So it says to subscribe to his channel, so I want to first off, we'll get his channel name here. I want to thank Dreamer Shope for this free music. I truly hope it's free, but not sure why it's going backwards and forwards. Actually goes pretty loud. So I'm just going to go here into settings. Gets pretty warm on the back when you turn up the bass. My speakers are crap. That's full blast. It gets them moving, I'll tell you that. I like how it's got an actual volume button. You know how hard it is to find in some new stereos. So that's basically it. It does a good job. Like I said again, I love the idea of this phone link thing where you can actually see your screen on the head unit. A couple of bad things. I'll just turn off some lights here. It's got a bit of screen glare, so that might be an issue for some people. And the more you hold it up, the more the brightness comes through. It seems to be better when you're down lower from it, in my eyes anyway, or straight on. So the screen quality is cheap, if I could say that. But hey, if you have an old car that you don't plan on keeping for a long time, and you just want something cheap to get it going, I mean, what, $60 or $50 or whatever I spend on it, it's bloody cheap. Bloody cheap. Well under $100 delivered to your door. why wouldn't you go with something like this? I mean, why go and spend hundreds of bucks on a big name brand kind of head unit when you can buy something like this that will do the job for you? So anyway, I don't know what car I'm going to put this in yet. It'll probably end up in one of my parents' cars actually, because they want something simple to use and their head units are old and original kind of thing. That's an interesting noise. When there's nothing going through, that's a really interesting noise. I'm not sure, it could be because that's not very well filtered. It is pretty old, so that might be coming from some disruption. And as well, if you can hear in the background, my neighbour is running a chainsaw or something like that, so it could even be picking up the distortion or the disruption from there. And there's no suppressor on this. So now your reverse camera, you just need a positive signal into the pink wire in here. And if we touch that onto, oh no, we can't. Sorry, I can't do it. I've taped up the the red cables on the back there, but if you touch that on the back, it will then automatically change. I've tested it, automatically change to your reverse camera mode. I'm not sure why that. Oh, that disruption's gone now, so that's interesting. But let's just go back to phone link. Very easy to use, and you do have basic controls on the screen. See that? So the only thing that doesn't appear to work, it might need the screen tuned actually. Oh no, there we go. So that's one of them. But if you can, oh, here we go, we can scroll. But if you're looking for something cheap, something that works, you may have to, the only thing that I'd recommend you to do is open up the box and clear out these heat sinks, because I can feel the heat coming out of here. Amazingly, it is producing a bit of heat. So if that's been trapped in there, it's no good for that. So clean out the backs of that. Make sure you take the board out whilst you clean it, otherwise you're going to end up with all that metal shrapnel sitting on the board and it will short something out. So please just be careful with that. And anyway, that's me over and out. See ya.